Is radio dead?
You have stars and you have superstars. You cannot be a superstar doing arena tours and things like that without radio. Middle America doesn't do all that streaming and they don't care. A radio check versus a streaming check. Well, I've seen numbers that would blow your mind, and it's because it was on radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 100th week in a row. We have not missed a fucking week. God damn, don't play with us.
A huncho.
This is the One More Time podcast.
Wow.
Henry, who do we have in the hot seat today for the 100th week in a row?
Welcoming in on the 100th week of the One More Time podcast. Man, let me just soak that in for a second.
That's dope.
Famous stand-up comedian, producer, author, actor. It's Tracy Morgan.
T-Mo? T-Mo in the house?
Looking a lot better since the injury, my man.
That's hilarious.
No, man, this is special. So we may or may not have, made sure that we got someone legendary for the 100th week in a row of the One More Time podcast.
Cool.
This is one of the most impactful, one of the most well-respected music executives here in Atlanta and honestly across the industry. We got the director of creatives at ASCAP, your favorite PRO.
Yes.
We got Jason Reddick in the motherfucking building.
Jason.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yes. So I just want to set the baseline here because sadly, even if you're an artist or a producer or a songwriter, you might not even know what a fucking PRO is.
That true.
I just want to set the stage for this episode, and I want to get a quick breakdown. So it stands for Performance Rights Organizations. But if you have to sum up for those that aren't familiar, like what is ASCAP doing for their clients or their members?
So the nuts and bolts of ASCAP is collecting royalties on behalf of the artists on their publishing side. So there's two sides of publishing. There's the mechanical side, which is what you hear or when you go to iTunes or when you go anywhere and you pay $1.99 to download, to own it. That's the mechanical side.
Yo, people are still doing that?
Yeah, it's surprising. You will see. Yeah. It's very surprising people still do that. And then there's the performance side, which is the part you hear on radio when you go into restaurants and you hear music, when you see syncs on film and TV, when they actually perform in venues. That's the actual performing side of it. So if somebody goes and performs, like, Drake and 21 is at State Farm, that's a licensed venue.
Did you cop your tickets yet?
Nah, yeah.
Actually, never mind. He's Jason Reddick. He gets them for free.
The rest of us got to take a mortgage out against a loan against our houses.
Trust me, I got text, and I will tell you this for myself personally, I might not be in Atlanta to see the show. So just because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes with that. So for my background, everybody asks me for tickets, so I try not to do the big shows in Atlanta because it's like if I go now, 20 people want to go. So
that was really the only reason we got you on. Yeah. So this is like
we could wrap this up.
Super awkward.
I'm definitely the wrong person then.
Yeah.
Because
fuck. All right. Well,
didn't go as planned.
You could come with me at Nashville. I saw that on the map. Ooh. New Orleans. So
okay. Did we just get the invite to a Drake and 21 show out of state?
Yeah. Just pull up with me.
God damn.
And out of state is always fun for me. I like to see the shows in different cities and get the energy.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta, to be honest with you, they're not really impressed anymore because we've seen everybody. So a lot of times the artists that you go, like Drake and 21 literally go to the strip club here. Like that's normal. So it's not like they're going to bring out anybody a surprise that you haven't seen before for the most part. Now, if that's
so sad.
Crazy. No, and it's still an amazing time. Like my kids love going to shows and things like that. So it's still an amazing time. But industry people, we're just like, oh, okay. Like for us, it's like, when we go see it other places and it happens and to feel the energy for those people that rarely get to see artists, that feels, the show is like 10 times magnified sometimes.
No, that's so true. It's like someone from Middle Tennessee made the drive to Nashville just to see Drizzy.
Exactly.
And he pulls out whoever the fuck on stage and they're just
like magnified.
Yeah.
Because that happens so very rarely, where in Atlanta, that's normal. Like, it's almost where if you have a show and you don't bring anybody out, everybody's like, oh, it was a terrible show.
Yo, the bar.
We expect it now.
Yeah, it's expected. If you don't bring out somebody, it's like, oh, that was terrible. I didn't bring anybody out. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, this artist just played his songs. What the hell was that shit?
I was dumb. I didn't come to see this. I came to see Friends. It's like so-and-so and Friends. Like, that's the normal for Atlanta. So
yeah.
Damn, you're right. So as director of creatives, like holy shit, that's a nebulous title. Like let's like, I don't know, you sound like you're part of the Illuminati with that shit, the director of creatives at ASCAP. So like from a day-to-day, just high level, what do you have your hands in with that role?
So our job really is like the early stages. Like I'm in the development side for artists. So I catch them early. Like say you have a mom and their child just got a beat machine at 15 and they have this talent out the blue and they need to know where to go. So I connect the dots for a lot of times for people. Like I know entertainment lawyers and I know publishers and I also know how to get music out and sessions and things like that. So sometimes I'm talking to people that are I'm talking to kids to help their parents navigate the business. I'm talking to established people who are looking to reinvigorate their careers. I'm talking to people that are on the rise, people that are literally at the top, some that are on their way down but trying to figure it out. Like it's just a multitude of people that I talk to daily. So no one day, it's hard to say outside of just waking up and checking my email. There's no like set thing that I do every day outside of checking my email and talking to either a publisher or creative or manager or somebody in the business.
Or podcast host,
Or podcast host, yes.
So what's the youngest person that you've, I guess, brought onto the ASCAP platform or I guess registered with ASCAP? What's the youngest person?
I mean, it just depends because they have to, as long as they have, they're signed off by their guardian. It could be, 10, 9, just depends. It just depends on what they do. I mean, you have like somebody like Alele. She's like, at the time when she first came out, she was on like 9 or 10.
Wow.
So
shit, what records does she work on?
Alele, she has a show on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
She has a show on Nickelodeon. But like kids like that, like those kids are artists as well. So a lot of them are signed to a PRO because we collect those royalties. When you see Disney shows, we're collecting those royalties off of Disney and things like that. So and Nickelodeon. So they have a PRO as well because they're generating income.
Damn.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm like, shit, we got some like baby Mozarts out there or some shit.
It's amazing with technology and how the speed of light of people being able to create. Like I'm older, so you had to have a label at the time to put music out. Today, it's like anybody can put music out. So it's very interesting to see.
Yeah, DistroKid membership's pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's funny because I think you referred to yourself and you even quoted Cole, and I'm blanking on the fucking lyric, but basically I'm Big Bro and Lil Bro at the same time.
Yeah, middle child.
Yeah, which is such an amazing record. Do you feel more like today, do you feel more like an OG in the game, or are you still...
when I talk to people sometimes, it just depends. Like I saw this amazing thing Joey Badass said recently where it's like a 33% circle that you need to have. Like it needs to be 33% of people that are smarter than you so you can learn. And then 33% of people that are your peers so you can motivate each other. And then 33% of the people who are mentees so you can teach. So it just depends on what circle I'm talking to. It really just depends. It is interesting to hear OG because I still feel like I'm chasing to get to the next level that I'm trying to get to. So I don't even think about like how long I've been doing it, the things I know, until I have to sit down and talk to people and I'm like, oh, okay, wow, like.
But you're always going to be learning, right? You're always going to be
learning. Yeah, so I never look at myself as an OG because I'm always learning. I'm always trying to figure it out. Because even when I'm talking to people that don't know as much as I might think I know, they're still teaching me something as well. Because the business is ever evolving every day.
Yeah, I think that, we've had older people on the pod, like, Rico Brooks, he's the best. And I think you guys have that in common where that appetite to learn, admitting that you're never going to fucking know everything. And it's your duty almost as someone who has the title of OG, it's almost your responsibility to make sure you keep learning so that you can teach, right? If people are coming to you for advice and game, as you said, this music shit is changing
all the time,
rapidly.
Yeah.
So whatever was working when you first got in the game,
it's not the same.
Odds are it is not fucking working right now. You know what I mean?
So that advice has an expiration date on it.
Absolutely.
Very true. And for me, I work on the business side, so I'm about helping people collect money. So I got to know what's going on, because if I don't know that you should register your song this way or make sure you're assigned to this system the right way or however you're collecting, then I'm not doing my job. Like, you're not getting paid. My job is to help you get paid.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah. And you have a very important job.
That's a good guy to know.
Everyone should follow the money trail. Who helps you get paid?
Yes.
Seek them
You
out
have to, yes.
and build a relationship with them for
Yes.
sure.
I'm a long-standing member of ASCAP.
Oh, dope.
He is.
That's what's up.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
indeed.
I tried to get him to switch to BMI, and he was just like, "I fucking love ASCAP."
fucking loyal. I said, no, Ben.
So ASCAP obviously represents songwriters that can come in the form of an artist who, contributes to their song from a songwriting perspective, obviously producers, and then traditional songwriters who write songs for other artists. So in my mind, you clearly are probably just constantly listening to music or at least coming across songs. And
Yes.
in your experience, what makes a song timeless?
Oh man. It's normally the rhythm and then the hook. A lot of times there has to be a hook that it's a hook. It hooks you, it brings you in. I think that's where today a lot of the artists and songwriters are lost because they don't have a defining hook in a song. They don't have a bridge that literally it's a bridge. It's one idea of a song that bridges the next idea to the song, and it keeps the flow going and it breaks up the monotony. So when you have these elements that are kind of tried and true tested for a song, it's very rare that they don't hit the mark when you're checking off certain boxes. And there are certain boxes for certain songs on the songwriting side. It's very interesting to see. People that tell you it's not, but it is.
Yeah, I think I saw something. I don't know if it was a tweet, a TikTok, a fucking audio book. I don't know.
It all
where,
blends together
I don't know
these
where I
days.
saw this shit.
Everywhere. Information's everywhere.
Yeah, but it was about that, the formula to writing a hit. And I think that as much as artists and producers and songwriters love to be unique, and I don't want to take that from you.
Yeah.
To your point, there's some fucking boxes, bro, that are getting
There's some
checked
boxes.
on just decade after decade after decade of hit records and timeless songs that
To me, those are not the same thing, though. You can have a hit that might not be timeless, though. I don't box those in together.
no, that's fair.
From a see,
That's,
know what I mean?
That's fair.
a creative's idea,
especially in today's day and age, a song can become a hit and that artist can be gone next year.
Yeah,
Right.
6 months.
So
That's very true.
I do agree. So let's call it more the timeless records, right?
Yeah.
I think that those have certain elements, and I think as much as some artists love to pride themselves on like, yo, this song got no hook, bro. It's no hook, straight bars. Well, there's a reason why it's not a hit.
Exactly. That's very true.
Because we're dumb as listeners and we can't comprehend something without a hook that well.
very true.
I'm just gonna call it what it is.
I think you can have a record with no hook, but you kind of need to be.
That's a
it
hit?
can't be like your lead single. It's probably not going to be a hit.
It's not gonna be a
necessarily.
hit,
It's
bro.
probably an album cut.
But yeah, exactly.
It's
a dope
deep
album
cut that the true super fans will love. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong. Make those songs,
Yeah.
but have realistic expectations of like, why isn't this
Yeah.
going?
Very true.
Probably because it doesn't have some of those
Elements.
consistent elements, right?
How are people? What TikToks are people going to make about it now? What do you mean? Isn't that sad? That's a thing now.
So, Henry and I talk about this all the time, and it is a brutal reality. So, like, buckle up for this sad, sad truth.
Yeah.
Oh God.
As someone who even tangentially works in music, given that we have a music-based podcast for the
Yeah.
most part, I mean, bro, it's hard to be a fan like I was in the past.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as someone who's an executive at arguably, the highest of levels, or, someone that's been in the game and impacted the Atlanta music culture to such a high degree? Do you find yourself struggling with your fandom?
I wish, but no, because there's so much new music out there that I'm fortunate that I sit in the center where it comes to me as well as I seek it out. So there are artists that are still trying to break through, but once they break through, yeah.
You're still like doing your laundry and dancing and turning it up and waking up and
I'm the guy that when I came up, I would run to get the liner notes and read who put out what and who produced what and what label is it on and things like that.
That's like your boy Tyler used to talk about that. Yeah.
Even he just announced a new album. Like I'm excited. That gets me excited. Like I'm like, oh man, a new album. Like I'm dying to hear it. And even some of the people that I've been fortunate enough now that I used to look up to that I work with, DJ Drama's new. I'm excited to hear what that is. Like his new album. Like he's an ASCAP member, but just what he's done for the culture. I used to actually, when there were CDs, I would put together the CDs during those times and help pass them out. So to see that, where I was working at that level and nobody knew who I was, to now actually knowing him on a first name basis and he knows who I am and get to hear the music early and sit in rooms with them, that excites me. So my friends are exciting to me as well.
Yeah. Let me actually rephrase this. I think it's almost that I live in a One More Time podcast bubble where I genuinely only listen to the people that I know, bro.
No, that is true.
So the fact that you're friends with John, I'm like, okay, Jason, makes it a little easier. Yeah, like, okay, you're probably friends with Tyler too, so you're excited about his album.
I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I'm excited about, we were talking about Surf.
Yes.
I'm excited about Ben Riley. I'm excited about East Rich, Gabriel Avery, like people that we've had on the pod. Yeah. Suave. I mean, like those people excite me, and they're who you go to my Spotify recently played. That's who's in it. It's not fucking Lil Baby. It's not Da Baby. Yeah. It's not even Drizzy. It's not anyone that is honestly, probably in everyone else has recently played. So I do think I live in this like bubble.
And it's also, I think, like you mentioned, it's a lot of the artists that you're already kind of comfortable with and that you haven't established, what they sound like. You're not going to be let down. It's like season 3 of Breaking Bad is going to be fire because season 1 and 2 were fire. You know what I mean?
True.
So is it any different for new artists? Do you have trouble
for me
becoming obsessed with like a new artist?
Because I think for me that my job kind of requires it.
Does.
Like I need to know who's new.
If he wants to continue getting a check, he better find that fucking excitement, Henry.
Like I need to know who's coming next. But not only that, I work with a songwriter who I think, I'm not even gonna lie, I think in the next 5 years is gonna be one of the top ones. And
shout her out real quick.
Yeah, her name is A Chic. Like I'm looking to find new artists for her to get with, because I don't think from a woman's perspective and a woman writer, I don't think anybody can touch her. She's a rapper, so she comes from a battle rapper era. So I don't think anybody can see her bar for bar as well as hooks. So I'm always looking for that, because I know if I put her in a room, that new artist is going to eventually be somebody that is going their way. So I'm excited for that. Between that and then another artist I work with, Not So Thuggin', like these people I'm excited about, because a lot of the world doesn't know, but I know. So I get to be with them every day and hear the music that they're working on and the things that they're working on and things that are to come. So that excites me.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about Not So Thuggin' were you drawn to, and how did y'all link, I guess?
Shout out to Key.
Key Henderson?
Yes.
Man, she's always
Key opens doors
in everything.
Legit open, like that's her thing.
Bro,
like,
Key is opening doors on the regular. I think people have their
branding thing, and that's her branding thing. Like,
it's perfect.
She does it.
It's the perfect.
She does it.
It's annoyingly perfect.
That's like family. Like me and her came up in the game together. We've always looked out for each other. So she just called me one day and was like, "Yo, you still like managing things?" I was like, "Yeah, if it's right." And just sat down with him and we started talking and we just clicked. And what drew me to him was he does everything himself. Like I have to try to insert myself in it, because before I know it, he's like, "Yo, I got this idea for an album." And then 48 hours later, I might have like 6 songs and rough drafts. And then he'll be
and
like,
a cover art and a music video that was somehow shot.
No lie. That's exactly how it works. God, and it's like,
that's amazing.
I'm like, whoa. But when I talk to other artists on a regular, I know how their work ethic is non-existent. So for somebody like that, it's just really the opportunity and putting them in the right rooms with the right people to craft the right story. Because once that happens, then I know he's out there, because he literally just constantly, he's always on my line. Like, "Yo, I got this." Like between myself and his A&R, we're on a group text, and I can't even keep up sometimes with the notes that I have of what ideas. Like we're always coming back like, "Wait, which album is this? Okay, cool. Let's go with this one." And putting different ideas together. But somebody like him is just, he's like, "Yo, that's all I got." So that's all he does all day long is work.
It's probably so opposite to what you're used to having to do.
Yeah.
You're used to probably having to, maybe ignite a fire in some people that you work with. You're having to probably, like we talked about, you're having to maybe, let's slow it down. Let's take a little bit of a step back and look at this from, a different lens, but without stifling that just work ethic, like him being a workhorse,
Yeah, you just, for people like that, you got to make it make sense. Because if you say wait, but then you don't really show them why, or you don't come through on your end for why they should be waiting, then they're not going to believe, and they're just going to keep putting it out. And then they're going to keep bumping their heads, but they're going to be like, well, at least it's out. Because for them, it's one of those things where they have so much creativity and they just want to keep putting it out, that they don't want to feel like it's being stopped. Because as soon as it stops, then they feel like they're being stagnant. And so if you don't put something in place where they can see why there are steps to releases and why you should put it out this way and why you should tease it and put down pre-save links and things like that to really roll out a project, then for them it's just like, nah. Because every time he puts out something, he gains more fans. So he's like, what are we doing? Now I'm like, this is the commerce side of it. This is how we make money off of it.
Has he seen that process work?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're still working together, so.
No, yeah. No, sure. But I just mean, yeah, so you came in and suggested, hey, let's attack a rollout slightly differently because you have years of experience seeing what works.
Yeah.
You've been on multiple sides of the business, and we'll kind of we'll dive into some of the things that you've done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering, making sure that it's like, okay, let's try this out. Yeah. And it then, I guess, appeased him because he saw
it worked and it made sense. Because for him, he had been putting it out so long, and it was just like, okay, let's get to the next level. And so between myself and Key explaining certain things, it was like, oh, okay, this feels like the next level. And then as we start releasing stuff, it's like, okay, yeah. And then you can start seeing, the money. When the money starts coming, it's like, okay, yeah, this is legit.
It's a good indicator.
Yeah. Between that and then for him, it's important to be in the right rooms, to be able to work with the right producers, to be able to go on tour. Like we're like steps away from that happening, where it's like he had a wish list of things and we're slowly checking off those boxes. So now it's like, even if something doesn't work, it's like, okay, well, at least we have that circle of trust between each other that, okay, we're going to try this. If it didn't work, let's pivot and go here. And we keep trying to figure out the next level. And that's the box.
It's funny. We were talking about Anwar off camera, who was a previous One More Time podcast guest. And he described the path to success as the spiral of success.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to do all the different types of opportunities on this spiral.
Yeah.
And then you actually do level up, and then you're like, shit, I'm doing kind of the same similar type of shit for a minute. And then you're like, boom, and I'm up in another level type of deal, right? Yeah. It sounds like that is where Nutso is kind of at, as far as he's doing all the stuff that he needs to be doing at this type of level.
Yeah.
And then he's seen himself kind of leapfrog to the next little, I guess, rung on the ladder, if you will. So that's dope.
Yeah, it's anything but a straight line, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So this is the time for you to pop your shit a little bit, okay? Oh. Ray Daniels, who, if you don't know who Ray Daniels is, go fucking look him up. I don't have time for that. He has a podcast, shout out to his podcast, called The God Show.
Yes.
And he basically set up looked like a mafia style dinner of just essentially what I think Juju McClain, who we just had on the pod, said it was the cool kids lunch table. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. And I was like, damn, I didn't get the invite. But it was essentially gathering all of the most impactful music executives here in the city.
Yeah.
The mayor of Atlanta, I think, popped out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And the concept was, let's sit down and let's have some friendly or maybe heated,
not so friendly.
heated debates around who is the GOAT of Atlanta, who are the underdogs here in the city.
Yeah.
And, it was supposed to be the people that have had the most impact on the Atlanta music culture. So I want you to tell us and our audience, why did you get the invite? Pop your shit for a second. What impact do you think you've had on the culture, right? Like, why?
This is not the time to be humble.
No.
Well, that's the thing. I'm by nature, I don't pop a lot of shit. I just do. So
damn, I was trying to bait him a little bit, bro.
For me, I got the invite because I do. Like, I'm around a lot of people, and then I've gotten to see people, like I say, start from the beginning and see where they've come. Like, when I was at Hot 107.9 and I was producing Birthday Bash, I was giving people their first shot at the stage that Hot didn't even recognize who they were. So whether I was putting them on the stage outside in Centennial Park in our starter stage, or I was putting them indoors at actual State Farm, that was that connector. Just like ASCAP, when I was at South by recently, I was the person that booked people for their first time ever being an official South by artist. So instead of them trying to sneak in and try to get shows and hope that they could get in, because they did my stage, they became an official artist the first time. So I've been around a lot of people and helped to facilitate their first, in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm popping cherries around here.
Who? Yeah, he's swiping your V cards around here, ladies and gentlemen. So, who's an example of someone you booked maybe in your Hot 107.9 birthday bash days that has gone to the next level, right? I guess who's the best example, or one example? I don't want to put you in.
For me, for me, because I try not to, because it's so early on sometimes for people that they might not remember or whatever, but their teams know. So, like, I remember having to fight for 21 Savage to be our headliner for our outdoor stage. And this is, if you see the video, it's where he's at the front and then the gate collapsed because all of the fans were just trying to attack him. Like, it went nuts. And I just remember being in the room debating with them, like, no, he's the one. And they're looking at me like, you sure? I'm like, no, he's the one. You have to. And they weren't trying to put him on. And I was fighting. And at the time, I know management. Those are the homies. That's family. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to get it. And they're like, no, we got to. I'm like, yes. Like, I was like, if I do it, y'all coming? Like, yeah. And so, that to see that, and now he's the headliner this year for Birthday Bash, when I remember arguing and fighting for that, that to me was a big deal. Like, somebody like that, whether he remembers it or not, is like mind blowing to me.
Yo, Meezy remembers.
Yeah, that's
Meezy
right.
definitely remembers. And hey, we've asked Red Push and TP to make the fucking Meezy, Stone Mound Meezy interview happen.
He doesn't have to come very far. We in the mound ourselves, Meezy.
The thing with Meezy is he's so chill and behind the scenes.
Nah, he did big. He did big act, bro. No, he did big acts.
Yeah,
podcast.
like one. He'll do you could probably count on your hands how many he's done.
And he was he like got forced into talking that shit. Basically, academics was like, nah, Meezy, grab a fucking mic, bro. We need to hear from you, Meezy.
Like you're doing right now with Jason, kind of.
Yeah, but see, if you with Meezy, you can count on your hand how many he does. He just.
And that's why we want it, bro.
No, I'm telling you, he's and people like him who just are such at a high level now that they're really protective of themselves because it's not about them, it's about the client, and they don't want to do anything to.
He doesn't want to say anything stupid here on the One More Time podcast.
Not even stupid. He just don't want to give away because he's working. I'm telling you, it's such a high level. The amazing stuff that they have coming is at such a high level that he doesn't want to spoil it, and he's building a company like Slaughter Gang is. I mean. The people that they have, 21 Hero, I think is fucking phenomenal. Was it Big Brad and
Kid Hazel
Tip and Hayes? Like they're primed to be our next huge indie label, which we have that culture here, and so I see the work. Like I've been to the studio and see what they're doing, and it's just such a high level that's like. I wish I could, but it's not about me. It's about everybody else who I'm pushing forward right now.
Dude, how politically correct of a response to my request for a
Can't even be mad, man.
No, I was like, okay, I totally understand, Jason. Well, don't worry about it, bro.
We know, we see it. We are fortunate to be in the circle, so we see it. And I know.
No, for sure, man. Yeah, they're crushing it. Like you said, Slaughter Gang is definitely poised to be competing, if not already, with the likes of the other household names we got here. We got LVRN, who apparently signing me up for unplugged events that I didn't think I registered for. But we'll talk about that later, Amber.
It's a fire marketing team.
And people, yeah.
Oh, no, they've always had the fire marketing.
LVRN, we got since the 80s. We got, obviously,
QC.
QC.
Generation Now.
Fucking Slaughter Gang is crushing. So, yeah, Atlanta is... I love where we're at with the rise of the music business. Even ASCAP having a presence here, other distribution companies having a presence here is super dope, and I think that's only going to continue. So
for sure.
So you mentioned you were down in South by, and you were on a panel, or you moderated the panel on artistpreneurship.
Yep. So that's my guy Drew. He has a company called Digilog.
Oh yeah,
it's one of my favorite things ever. And I met him when he was at Def Jam doing digital, and then he left there, went to Alamo, and then him and JR connected with NPR music, and they did Money Long's first song, and now they're on they did the French Montana record that just came out and a bunch of other stuff. And so he has this company called Digilog where they really are just setting up communities across the country of people that are executives and people that want to be in the music business. And it's almost just a community of education.
Oh, I've been to several Digilog events.
Really?
I actually had a call with Drew DeLeon.
Yeah.
When I first started getting into music, he was one of the first people that I hit up, cold DM. He took my call, invited me to be a part of, the Digilog community.
That's him.
He put me on game of kind of how to move, in the industry and stuff. So shout out to Drew for sure.
That's my guy.
Because it's pretty cool to, see his growth and him transitioning. Is he still at Alamo or did he go full send into NPR?
It's full NPR and Digilog.
Yeah.
He's growing Digilog like crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, what they did, their activation at South by was with Dolby, and they took over the Dolby house, and they just moderated different panels and things.
Yeah.
So that one came about because he did Digilog Day, like it was festival in New York. And so, like I said, that's my guy. So wherever he needs me, I'm there. So
I literally logged on to the Digilog Day.
Yeah.
This was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was still in my late 20s at this point. So I was like at the end of my party phase, and I was poolside, drunk, but I dialed into the Zoom because it was a virtual one for the Digilog Day.
Yeah.
And I think I told you about this. It was basically just,
I don't know if I know this one.
Yeah. But he just all about educating people that do want to. It was perfect for me trying to figure out how do I enter this music industry. What are even the different roles in the music industry? I didn't know what the fuck A&R really meant, or
no one knows.
Yeah, and we still don't think they do anything. But shout out to our A&Rs that have been on the podcast.
That's crazy because
because they don't.
Where my time and where I come from, there was a clear distinction. And A&R really was the first person that got me excited about the music business. Like, oh man, this is cool. Like I just remember, and I'm dating myself now, but when I started throwing parties at 17, and I happened to be working a club event with my partners at the Royal that Coach K used to own down by State Farm. And Jay-Z had the Hangar Tour. And I don't know if anybody remembers this. This is when he came from New York to Atlanta, LA, and it ended in Vegas in one day to promote the album on a private jet.
Yes.
And so he came to Atlanta first, and it was like at 6 a.m. or something. So I remember leaving the club at 3 and going there at 6. It was center stage.
Yes.
So I was up in line. It was cold. This is another thing about branding. I don't think people realize Jay-Z normally drops albums in December around his birthday. Just same thing with Drake dropping in October most times around his birthday, things like that.
Yeah, the fact that I know Jay-Z's birthday and not my own best friend, fucking December 4th.
It's the branding.
The branding, bro.
Branding.
Why do I know Jay-Z's birthday?
They don't understand how far that takes you subliminally, and it's in the back of people's minds.
God, that's incredible. Sorry, I just wanted to say, I just thought about that
reality,
and I was like, "Fuck, I really don't know my best friend's birthday."
All know it. We all know it.
We all know it's December 4th, Jay. We get it.
We all know Drake is October because he literally branded it that way. Like we know this. So I just remember coming around the line and finally seeing security people that I knew or whatever, and talking to them, and then just seeing this car, this Porsche drop top in the wintertime, red, pulls up, and this guy hops out with a fur and bumping this music we've never heard before, and he just throws his keys to security and walks in. And everybody's like, the fuck is that? And then Jay-Z goes through his set, he gets on stage, performs, goes through his set, and then at the end, this is when it was L.A. Reid and Jay-Z taking over Def Jam. And he was like, I just want to shout out my man Shakir Stewart. And this guy the guy that jumped out the car walks up with his fur, and he's like, this is my guy. Just know he's going to be big. Come to find out, the music he was bumping was the Jeezy album before it came out. So this guy signed Jeezy, he signed Rick Ross, he signed, he worked with Neo, Rihanna, everybody that was in that Def Jam era, he signed, worked with 112. And the next time I saw him was at Jeezy's release. He's literally standing next to Jeezy, and you couldn't tell who was the artist and who was the star. Like, he was that big. And so that's when I was like, oh, yeah, okay. That is somebody I would love to aspire to. Like, he was the A&R, and then that's when I figured out what it was. He signed acts. He put them in the right rooms. He did songs. Like, he said, you should do this, and it was like, oh, okay.
Like, and he drove Porsches and wore furs.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, I think it was just the drop top portion of the fur that you wanted.
No, he was bigger than like.
He's like, I don't care what the fuck he does.
There's not many that are that type of personality A&Rs, but we have some now still, and they come from his tree. But
yeah, the whole LVRN, like Justice A&R.
Oh, Justice is different. Justice is probably the close.
He looks like an artist,
Justice,
bro.
Justice is probably the close. If you're talking personality wise, he might be the closest. Justice, Dash,
Yeah.
Those guys might be the closest to what I saw when I saw Shakir. Like, I can only imagine the kids that see them now, they see Shakir. That was Shakir for me.
Yeah.
Like, those two are probably the closest.
So did you ever have a stint as an A&R in your career?
I wish.
Okay.
Nah, I wasn't that cool yet.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get
Hey,
this
man.
cool.
Yeah, you still got a lot of gas in your tank, so it could definitely happen.
We'll see what happens. But now that I've been in the business, I've seen all the sides that it to me, the ultimate is owning a label.
Yeah.
Like a label that has impact.
Yeah.
That's because when you're developing careers, and a label just gives you got the artist and you got other executives you can develop and ecosystems, and it's just so many things you can build off of that label that affects the business and affects the culture. So that's really, for me, where it's at, really.
Yeah, and so the panel was artistpreneurship, which essentially was, I assume, just from the term, was talking about artists are in fact businesses.
Yes.
So treating yourself as such is so key, and I think it's a big miss on most aspiring artists' part. I think that they don't quite treat themselves like the business that they claim they want to build. Right? Everyone wants to, make tons of money, and with that requires certain thought processes and certain things. Right? So what were some of the biggest takeaways from that panel? Right?
Some of the takeaways is just team. I think people want to be independent but operate at a high level like a major, but they don't realize how many people are involved. Like, you'll have a lot of people complain like, oh, nobody, the going thing is, oh, everybody's a label, nobody's doing nothing. When in reality, like, no, everybody has a real job that can be accounted for. Sometimes you'll hear managers, they have a problem with one person and they just say the label, when it's just really just that one person they feel like isn't executing. But when you look at the product managers, the art directors, the pitch guys for playlisting, the commerce guys, like the radio guys, like those people are really working on your behalf, especially if you see certain artists that are if you name the top 5 major acts, I promise you there's at least 30 to 40 people that have had a hand in the reason why you can know them, for sure. Like, you can get yourself out there as an indie artist right now, but to get to that level, it requires a real team and people doing their job and knowing what that job is. So that's what the artistpreneurship is teaching people different jobs and what it does to really be an artist and build a business.
So if I'm an independent artist, who are the first few people that I need to have on my team to succeed?
A manager that believes in you, because that's the person that while you're creating, they're trying to get those business and revenue ideas for you, things that generate the money or whatever the case is, whether it's creative funding or whatever, that person is doing that. A real lawyer, whether it's somebody that's charging by the hour or charging per whatever agreement, somebody that understands that part of the business, because I've seen people pretty much have a false start, in a sense, where they think they're going and then their paperwork's not right. And then, or you talk to them and they're signed to 6 people and you don't even know. Like, you're thinking you're walking them into a building and there's 6 other people that they're signed to that you have to get approval for.
Damn.
And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even feel like it's worth it at that point. So a real lawyer, real manager, and a lawyer for sure, for real. They have to have a degree. They have to specialize. Like, that person. A manager is somebody you can just build with. If somebody believes in you and they're eager and they're willing to take a chance on you, I would go with them. Like, see, it's not always about a seasoned manager if somebody is willing to figure it out, because the job of managing is figuring it out. And if somebody has that energy, I would run with them for sure.
That's key.
Yeah, it's a big one.
We've heard that time and time again.
You have to have somebody that believes. If they don't believe, it doesn't matter. I've seen big time artists go run to big time managers and they be like, yeah, I'll take the check, but they don't believe. And then you have somebody who's making pennies, worked a whole different industry, but they believed and just, they got things done. So that's key. From an artist perspective, an engineer you trust, because especially if you're putting out a lot of music, you got to get that turnaround. Some graphics people, because the cover art matters. There's nothing worse than you have the song, but the cover art you're waiting on. You're waiting on graphics, motion video, things that would set you apart, because major labels are doing that. When you go to Apple Music and you see the cover art, the motion art, that's what they're doing. A lot of indie artists are just flat 2D pixels, when Apple is pushing Dolby sound and immersion sound. And if you're trying to compete with the majors who are doing that, and you don't have an engineer that's doing that things, it's going to be hard for you to cut through these sounds.
Yeah.
And then some digital marketing, because what was that? A guy tweeted that it was 38 million songs that came out last year and had 0 streams.
0?
Yeah, because nobody knew about them.
Holy shit.
Gotta see that?
Shit.
Wow. Gotta see that?
0?
Yes. The guy,
He didn't even listen to his
Stream
own
your
song.
own song?
No, I'm saying 38 million people put out a song.
I know, and they didn't even stream it themselves.
No, they didn't stream themselves. It was 0 streams.
Holy shit.
But that's the crazy thing, is that everybody thinks, I will say music has done a great job of marketing itself as something sexy. So everybody wants to be a part of it. But not even thinking that I should be the one and get my mom to stream it and my sister, my family, somebody. Even if you don't have a family, you have friends, somebody. They got 0 streams, meaning they didn't tell anybody about it. They did no promotion. Yeah.
If we got 0 views on our podcast, I would fucking
Shut it down.
But that's what I'm telling you. Like, for sure, 20 people that you can at least get 20 views.
Definitely.
At least.
God.
Yeah. So
That was the most depressing news. Okay, I don't know where to go from here. Henry.
38 million.
Yeah. Okay.
it was staggering. And then, but
That's pathetic.
from this end of seeing it, I know it's true. I know
Wow.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're cool with that though. Maybe they just wanted to do it
They're not.
and it's like a mental thing. They're clearly not trying.
There are
so-
more people that think they could just put the music out and walk away, and then they come back and it has millions of streams all of a sudden, and they're overnight successes. There's more people that believe that than what it really takes to be that.
They think Spotify is like TikTok.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
It
oh
only
my
takes
gosh.
one. Just put it up there.
That's crazy. So you talked about this before, but I want to make sure that your opinion is still in line with what you've said previously. So you were the type that I think was basically foregoing meals at times to fucking buy your tickets to conferences
Yeah.
and stuff, right? In today's day and age, these conferences like South by and A3C, they get a lot of grief of, is it worth it? Should I spend the money? This, that, and the third. If you're an independent artist, are you telling independent artists to cop the ticket?
That's crazy. I was just thinking about this, and yes. And I say yes
And why?
because that is investing in yourself. I'm not saying buy the badge. I love South by, I fuck with South by, but I'm not saying buy the badge. I'm saying wherever you're from, rent the truck, whatever, put the gas up. If it's 10 of y'all gotta get 2 hotel rooms and just crash out, like be on the floor, whatever. Share meals, whatever that is. Whatever it is to get to. So I'm a person that believes in what they call music moments. For me, I always saw what was going on, whether it was Grammy Week, BET Week, A3C, South by, anything that had a music moment where I knew there was going to be all the music people, potentially, I needed to be there. So whatever that looked like. So in January, February is Grammy Week, I had to figure out how to get to LA. There would be times I would be in Chinatown because I didn't know the area at the time, and had to figure out how to get to the parties and whatever because I didn't know everybody was in Hollywood the first time I went. So, but because
Damn
I went,
rookie mistake, Jason. This dude's in
But that's the
Chinatown. Like,
thing.
where the fucking parties at, bro?
Right. But that's the thing, though, because I did that. Now I know.
Yeah.
There are certain things people just can't tell you. You got to go experience it yourself. So
Yeah.
for me, yes, I say sometimes if this is your passion, because that was another tweet, I forgot who said it, but a lot of the problem with the music business today is people aren't passionate about it. They're just in it because, again, it looks sexy. It looks like it's cool. Anybody can do it. It looks like. So they don't have a true passion for it. When you have a passion about something, you won't eat. You'll missing a meal is okay. You'll figure it out.
Damn.
When you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, 100 weeks in a row.
That's
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah, that's pretty passionate.
That is
Yeah.
I don't even have to ask if that's passion. You know that is passion.
Oh.
To
Yeah.
be committed to something 100 weeks in a row is passion.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
There's
just
no
like,
way that's not
thank
passion.
God I didn't have to actually miss a meal, though. I mean, but I probably would
I've
have.
missed one.
Yeah.
But there are things.
Henry's like, haven't
you have to
missed
do
a meal.
something. But you have to do something that, regardless, getting up and getting yourself in this to do it, that's passion. And when you're passionate enough, it doesn't require a lot of motivation. It does require like maybe a little check every now and then, be like, oh man, okay, I got to do this. But for the most part, it didn't take a lot for you guys.
Yeah. No, there's definitely, I think there's been moments of fatigue, right? You do something 100 weeks in a row. It's like, holy shit, we've been going. To your point, should we be doing it this way? Should we really be doing it that way? Like, where's our time best spent? So on and so forth.
Yeah, get like 20 views on a video that we worked really hard on. You know, it's like, damn, man.
But you need that. You need that in order to know how to build it right. Because there's so many people that talk about it and they be like false start and won't even start. But because you guys have done, you have 100 episodes of evidence to pull from and say, no, we need to do it this way. We should do it this way. Versus the person that never did it. They just bought a bunch of stuff and they just sat there and looked at it.
Yeah.
Y'all actually put yourselves out there and did it.
Yeah.
And that's what's missing on all sides, the business, the artist side, every side, is that people are actually passionate about it, but then doing the things to see it and failing.
Yeah.
You got to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. So for someone who did a stint in radio, right? I know you were on the promotion side, you know, doing the events, so on and so forth, but is radio dead?
Ooh.
I don't know why everybody asks me that, because I have so many radio friends, so it's hard for me to answer that. But no.
We need the truth.
No, it's not.
FM radio, even?
No, it's not dead. Because I can tell you this.
What's the role of radio today?
So you have stars and you have superstars. You cannot be a superstar. You might, and everybody might be like, well, so-and-so is a superstar. Okay, you can probably count on your hand. But you cannot be a superstar doing arena tours and things like that without radio. Even on the Latin side, pop side, these guys aren't. And well, Bad Bunny, they're on radio. Like, you get to do stadiums when you're on radio, because Middle America doesn't do all that streaming and they don't care. They listen to radio. There are more stars that still get broken on radio. Like, the first time I ever heard Olivia Rodrigo. I'm not even on that side.
No, that's right.
One of them. It was radio. I didn't know who she was. I just heard the song on the radio and I was like, why do they keep playing this song? Me being in radio, I knew why they were playing it, but I was like, man, I keep hearing it. And then eventually I saw the rest of the stuff catch up. But yeah, the radio, if you want to be and I promise you this, without divulging numbers, a radio check from hitting radio and going crazy on radio versus a streaming check.
Yes.
Different. I don't care how many streams you get. A radio record that took off and went crazy, the amount of money you see from that versus a streaming check is two different things. Always.
Yo, is that not publicly available? Like you can't share what a like, man, because
that's people's publishing. They own that. Like, no.
I know, man. I saw J.R. McKee try and get it out of you, bro. If he couldn't get it out of you, I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna just,
you can't, because
you did try.
And because
I know.
he's heavy on the streaming side and he sees numbers on the streaming side.
But he was still just asking you to divulge a nice songwriting ASCAP check.
It's hard to say.
I know, but he tried.
No,
and you were like, nah, bro.
No, I've seen numbers I've seen numbers that would blow your mind, and it's because it was on radio. And you can guess the songs because you hear them all the time. If you listen to radio and it's like a song that comes on every 10 minutes, you're like, geez, why is this song? Because it's in what they call power rotation. And power rotation means it's going to play at least every hour. But then when it gets like super power rotation, it's like every 20 minutes or 30 minutes. There are times where you go and you try to change the 4 different, and the same song is on. It's because it's in rotation. It's in power rotation.
Bruh.
The amount of money that is made from that. This is why when you see the artists go perform at iHeart Festival, yeah, they're going for sure because they want that record.
They're doing that for free.
Listen to me. If Dark Winters calls, you better show up.
Damn.
Yes.
I always joke with my wife. I'm like, yo, we literally will go like just grab a quick fast food bite or something.
Yeah.
We'll hear a song because her fucking Toyota Camry 08 doesn't have Bluetooth, and it's fucking miserable. Like, I'm in my car, of course, only listening to Spotify, but if I have to drive her car, then we're listening to the radio straight up, and it's actually kind of humbling, to be honest, to have to listen to it.
I think that's where people in the business they think what they do is everybody, when in reality, the regular consumer, they listen to FM radio.
Oh, and it's hilarious. My wife makes 6 figures, And she's listening to radio in her fucking 08 Toyota Camry, bro.
She could care less.
No, she loves the radio.
That's what I'm saying.
She loves the talk shows in the morning. Oh my God. She loves all the pop songs and stuff.
Talk shows,
the ads, though.
Sometimes you don't.
She just deals with
You're used to it.
Or sometimes you do catch a lucky one where like they don't go on at the same time, right? So you go from one of your favorite stations
to the next.
But sometimes they're both on ads, and like that's a bummer.
It is.
For sure.
I'm gonna be honest.
I can promise you, if you're an artist and you get the opportunity to have a record that tests well on radio, and you have the money to do it, I would, because the return on is bananas.
How do you gauge that? How do they know which records are doing well?
So I don't know if they still do this, but it normally starts in Atlanta, at least. It normally starts in the clubs. So if there's a record that's starting to bubble, what they call underground in the clubs, you have a lot of the programmers or the assistant programmers. They go out. A lot of the DJs that work on radio actually DJ in the club. Mm-hmm. So they'll play a record there first. If they get the reaction of it, then what they do is they call it the mix, the afternoon mix or the night mix. When you have the DJs do the mix. Mm-hmm. Also very important when you have those holidays. So you have Memorial Day mix, 4th of July mix, things like that. Normally they block off talking and they just put all the DJs on. So those DJs have to play something. So normally they'll take the records, they test it in the club and they play it around that time. If it starts getting feedback on like I said, I haven't been in radio in a while, but it's the PPM meter, the tester thing where it says it's ratings, and it started bubbling. Between that, Shazam, you can check Shazam if people Shazammed it as well.
Oh wow, they can cross-reference, because I do catch myself Shazamming radio songs because I don't listen to the radio unless I'm in my wife's car that I mentioned doesn't have fucking Bluetooth. Well, and I'll catch myself being like, "Who the fuck is this?
Oh,
is that Nikki?" Like, I don't even know.
If you have a good label or manager, they're definitely checking Shazam for sure.
And they're able to cross-reference it of when it was starting to get played or whatever.
They'll say this group of people Shazammed it from the radio, this people Shazammed it from Spotify or whatever. Yeah.
And are they able to tell like how many people change stations or switch it off during the song?
PPM meter.
That's the whole thing with that.
But typically Shazam, you didn't, even if you changed it, you still searched it. So there has to be some correlation of interest there for some reason. So you're checking those numbers.
This song sucks. I want to know who the fuck this is. I'm never listening to this.
I never hear them again.
That never happens.
Damn, that's so funny.
Then you're checking that, and then if it makes it, then you're starting to hit those different slots. You got the afternoon drive, you have the night show, you have the midday show, you have the morning show, and then it starts getting programmed into those things, and they start testing those records on those levels.
What's the most premium spot on a radio show, or you know what I mean? Like usually what time of day and what day or whatever.
Rush hour?
Morning. Mm-hmm. So normally it's the morning radio. That's why it's syndicated. Morning is normally syndicated. So imagine hearing a song at Breakfast Club. You know, there's millions of people listening to that versus the local morning show. So morning normally is a sweet spot. And then nighttime, typically, because that's the demos. Morning is people that's working people, the 9 to 5 people. The night show is the kids, the teenagers. They're listening to the night because they're out of school. So they listen to the night show. That's why a lot of times if you look at the demos, it's older people in the morning and younger people at night on the radio side because it's the demos. And then midday normally is like the relatable person that stay-at-home moms listen to. That was the old theory. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's still relevant, but kind of if you think in terms of that.
It's probably still got to be at least relatively.
I'm divulging secrets, but it's still like that.
No, for sure.
That's what we need here on the One More Time podcast.
So
the exclusives,
trade
Jason.
Secrets,
So prior to your current role, you were director of urban music, right, at ASCAP.
So I'm in now.
Okay.
You're saying before ASCAP?
No, like before your director of creatives role.
So creative. I work pretty much all the genres. At this point.
But
I still highlight urban because it's Atlanta.
Okay,
but I have counterparts in pop. I have counterparts in country. I have counterparts that I work with because it's amazing to see our music cross over. So I get a lot of calls from the pop department when they're looking for certain songwriters and trying to reach out to certain producers and things like that because our music just crosses over. I'm starting to go to Nashville more because that scene is starting to bubble. So I start to touch all of those things because there are pockets of music starting to pop up even more now. Memphis is going crazy. So different spots like that. So I touch I touch most of the genres, but my focus is still urban.
Yeah, and so for me, it's been called urban. It's called black music at some labels and organizations. Are you a fan of the term urban? Do you prefer black music? Do you prefer neither? Like, I know everyone kind of has their own like opinion on how we define this music that is hip hop, rap, R&B sometimes, whatever.
Personally, I urban for me because, again, from when I was coming up, I always wanted to be the head of urban at a label.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be like Mark Pitts, who's the head of urban. He was the head of urban for RCA. Like I wanted to be the head of urban. So for me, that title was a big deal because I get to be a head of a department that's defined in a sense of a genre. I think people gave it a knee-jerk reaction. Even at work, we still have this conversation now about our department and what it's called. It's called Rhythm and Soul, RNS. But like,
so it's not urban anymore. They trashed urban.
It's still, it internally it's Rhythm and Soul.
Oh,
but we say urban because that's what people know. Because most people don't know.
That's the industry
RNS.
more accepted term.
Most people don't know it's RNS, but internally, like it says,
because rhythm and soul.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not even thinking of like
it's just a progressive
bars or anything.
It's just a woke thing,
right? Which is why we say urban, but internally it says rhythm and soul. But we've been talking about the branding change, and I think we've settled almost on a if you know, you know, if you don't.
Are other labels still calling it black music as the genre?
It just depends on the
so
label.
if that still exists out there.
They're still internally.
For some reason, I don't know if it's the whiteness of me or like why that seems. But I've heard black people say that that's weird too.
It is. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to have to figure it out when pop gets to be pop and
yeah.
Let's be honest, rap's pop these days.
Pop
like,
that's the thing. Rap is pop. So we're just like it's the same.
That's funny, man. So, what are you most excited for coming up? It sounds like you have, aspirations of potentially running a label at some point, but just in the more shorter term, anything that you're most excited about, you want to get to talk about?
Near future, like I said, is Chic.
Yeah.
I think
and
when everybody sees what she's been working on and that stuff that comes out, hopefully by the time this comes out, everything will just start flooding the block. Nutso as well. We're actually going, we're taking a trip soon to work with some dope producers that he's excited about that I can't wait. I think, this year is going to be big for him. Working with Lou Will and Winners United. I think that's so cool.
Shout out Lou Williams.
Yeah, Lou Williams is so dope. Like, he's a basketball player for sure, but the guy's just the coolest. And I feel like once everybody gets to see what's happening with Winners United, they're going to be excited. And then there's a new distribution company, Track. I really like Track. Track is dope. Ray is actually head of A&R, actually. Head of music at Track. This guy named Carter, and real smart. Got to meet with him recently. And just going to start helping them do some cool things. Very excited about that. And I think once people see, because the distribution game is really wide open. Everybody's kind of doing it. You just got to have the right funding for it. If you have funding, you're good to go. So Track, I think, is one of those next big ones you're going to hear about. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome, man. Well, Jason, we have entered a final segment of the One More Time podcast.
Oh, shit.
Henry, this is your favorite segment. I'm not sure it's mine, but that's fine. Depends on how you do it.
The fuck does that supposed to mean?
I just like when I get to do the talking. That's all.
You just did an hour of talking. You didn't let Jason get a word in.
No, come on. I did good. I did good that time.
Jason, this is the rapid fire rampage. It's going to be a 3-part rampage. I'll explain them as I go. We're just going to start off with some short answer questions.
Okay.
Jason, you quit your job at ASCAP to pursue a rap career. What is your rap name, and what is the name of your debut project?
Oh, man, that's tough. What would it be? It would be The College Graduate. Ooh. I would call it A College Graduate. And my rap name would be, it would probably be Down South Baller.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was thinking something like Ridiculous. Reddick?
Everybody goes with that. I don't know. Everybody thinks I will play. No.
He's like, that's corny, bro.
3 things you think artists trying to make it are slacking on the most.
3 things: patience, funding, and direction.
Damn, those were quick. Yeah. That was rapid.
I'm going to skip down one. When you said funding, you're a struggling artist named Down South Baller who saved up $10,000 to spend on advancing your music career. Give us a breakdown on how you spend that $10,000.
The 10 grand. I would take 5 to make sure that I had the bare necessities, whether it was an apartment that costs $1,000 if you can find that, and at least have 5 months worth of rent paid off, so at least I know where I'm staying. I'll figure out lights and all that later. And then the other 5, I would get into a decent mix, some artwork, and create what they call the videos, the short form videos, and then that content. So I would spend $5 grand on content really, and then from there, myself learn how to run ads at 50 cents a click or 25 cents a click and run the ads myself until I can start generating money. Because now if I have somewhere to live, at least I have a roof on my head, whether I have lights or not. I have somewhere to stay. And then I have the content I can start putting out.
What's a good platform for ads right now?
Facebook ads are still top.
I've heard that. They're cheap there.
They're very cheap, but they're very, very, you get high results on those still.
And Facebook Reels. Facebook Reels something I wanted to talk to you about.
We're sleeping on Facebook.
I know. There's still a ton of people.
I hear so much about Facebook still.
You can make Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
Especially for you guys. YouTube would just, running the right ads on YouTube. Like have y'all decided to talk to Rachel Baby yet?
We've tried getting Rachel Jackson on the pod. She agreed to it, and then she went off and gallivanted across the country doing dope YouTube shit. But yes, Rachel Baby,
we
need you on the pod.
We'd love to have you.
Because the money that you make from those 2 platforms, especially YouTube, I'd actually say hit the right algorithm, the right views. That YouTube check is, oh man.
That's the one we need.
Yeah, that YouTube check is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy, Henry. Did you hear that?
Moving on while I'm just got dollar signs in my eyes.
He's drooling money.
Yeah, YouTube check is crazy.
Jason, you're gifted a giraffe. You can't sell it or give it away. What do you do with it?
I would rent it out.
Ooh.
So
little giraffe rental business.
I was fortunate. The rumor, everybody was there. I was actually fortunate to go to a very prominent figure of Atlanta scene's birthday party, and he had a giraffe and
it's got to be Rick Ross.
And
he has buffaloes.
He has buffaloes that we talked about
for sure. Yes, but it was a earlier prominent Atlanta figure, and he had this outlandish birthday that to this day still is amazing to me.
T.I.
And he had a giraffe there.
Okay, well, I'll stop listening.
If we guess it, would you say yes, or would you just keep saying?
I'll tell you.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Ludacris.
No. I said prominent figure. He wasn't a rapper.
Oh shit.
He was around rappers. He influenced a lot of rappers.
Oh shit.
But he wasn't a rapper. There's a TV show about the family now.
Oh shit. We're supposed
we
to
should know that, bro. For sure.
Some ignorant white motherfuckers around here.
Big Meech, BMF.
Meech.
Yes.
Yeah.
His compound birthday, the legendary
at the compound.
Yes.
There was a giraffe at the compound?
Mm-hmm. How big was it?
It was fucking.
It was a giraffe, man.
Like 20 feet tall?
It was like ridiculous, yeah.
Could you climb on it or something?
No, they had it blocked off. They had lines. They had just, it was, I don't know how Hannah pulled it off, but Hannah, it was a legend, and she just,
Wow.
Just made this zoo.
I'd rent it out. Make some
fucking themed party. Wow.
Yeah, I'd rent it out.
It's amazing.
Damn.
And it's a great answer also.
It's fire.
Jason, you must delete 3 states. Which states do you delete?
Wow, 3 states?
Gone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know, because they're so important.
The people can relocate. We're not just murdering all these people.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to do that.
No. I don't want to.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
State? Oh, that's tough.
3 states got to go from the country.
I don't know. Let's see. Can they could be fake states? Like they could be real states?
Real states.
States. This guy's so nice. He won't even he won't even hypothetically delete.
ASCAP's gonna lose listeners in Idaho
because I feel like some states are very important and they're coming along like it's crazy. All right, let's just say
Delaware has promise, bro.
I was gonna say, but I know people from Delaware. It's crazy. There's some amazing music people from Delaware. Adam Blackstone, shout out to him.
Okay, all right.
Shit.
You had something on the tip of your tongue right there.
I was gonna actually go with like Idaho and Seattle, Washington. Seattle.
That's the whole state of Washington.
Yeah, not DC, but Washington.
State,
and then Washington, Idaho, and Iowa, I guess.
Okay.
Gone.
The Pacific Northwest took a little bit of a hit there.
He doesn't like the I states.
No.
Get them out of here.
Indiana survived.
Yes.
Once and for all, Jason, who has the best fast food chicken sandwich?
Wow. Because clearly I know I'm a foodie. Wow. Fast food chicken sandwich. Wow. The Popeyes one was crazy. That shit was crazy.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
That was the correct answer.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Last one of the short answer. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Part one. Rapid.
Solid.
And great answers.
Very good. Very good part one. This next part is a this or that. I'm going to give you two choices, and you just pick one.
Okay.
ASCAP or BMI?
ASCAP.
Just a test there, just to see if I can
It's the only one.
catch him off guard.
What if he had a Freudian slip that was BMI? Oh, fuck.
No.
CSAC. Oh, wait.
ASCAP actually is the only one. I don't know about. I think the other ones aren't around anymore.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, true competitor.
Yeah. YouTube video or podcast?
Ooh. YouTube video. They make a lot of money.
Go completely broke or lose all of your industry connections?
Broke.
Yes. I thought you might
I
say
need it
that.
back, yeah.
Give up Mexican food, give up Jamaican food.
Jamaican food.
Give up central heating or give up salt.
Salt.
Become a bass player in a successful rock band or leave the music industry.
Oh, bass player. Yeah.
And finally, legless or dickless?
Legless.
Part two.
I don't need these legs. Fuck these legs.
He needs one
Baller ass wheelchair. You doing tricks and shit?
Yeah, it's actually some very prominent figures in the music business that are very powerful in wheelchairs.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn, I feel like we're supposed to know those wheelchair people.
We're
bosses.
just off today.
Dude, it's been a long day, man.
We can get big meech. All right, anyway. Part three is the word association. I'm going to say one word, and you just say the first word, maybe two words off the top of your head, right back at me. No thought.
Okay.
Here we go. Starting with hip-hop.
Life.
Cereal.
Eat it.
Drill.
Music.
Lil.
Baby.
Orange.
Soda.
Helicopter.
Pad.
Beer.
Pong.
iPhone.
Necessary.
Garden.
Variety.
Grandpa.
Goat.
Fentanyl.
Never had it.
It's good. Good. Canada.
What if he was like, love it. Love it.
Fucking love the stuff.
Fucking love it, bro.
Oh, damn on that F.
On the F? Is that what they call
I
it?
don't know.
Canada.
Canada.
Beautiful women.
Dreadlock.
Necessary.
6ix9ine.
Pass.
Yo, I caught myself putting the 6ix9ine documentary on Hulu the other night.
Pass.
Yeah.
American Society.
ASCAP.
He's like, don't make me do this.
I couldn't think of a good one.
I was about to go through the whole
Yeah, I
thing.
was
and
hoping
then
you would.
everybody would have. Yeah.
Yeah, clicked off.
Right.
This has been Jason Reddick, a legendary Atlanta music executive, a friend of the One More Time family now.
For sure. Yes. I love
As
this.
always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us a lot, and it means the world to us that you guys tune in week after week. We have been doing this shit for 100 weeks
100
in a
of them.
row.
Congratulations.
And we
That's
do
amazing.
not plan on stopping
amazing.
anytime soon. Henry, until next week, what are we doing?
Getting the fuck out of here.
Getting the fuck out. Peace.
Pop that shit like one more time. Hey, pop that one more time. Pop that shit like one more time.